This is the most significant arms control agreement in nearly 2 decades, and it will make us safer and reduce our nuclear arsenals along with Russia. And this treaty will enhance our leadership to stop the spread of nuclear weapons and seek the peace of a world without them. The strong bipartisan vote in the Senate sends a powerful signal to the world that Republicans and Democrats stand together on behalf of our security.
Welcome back to Hardball. Today, President Obama became the first Democratic president who successfully negotiated and got ratified a nuclear arms reduction treaty. The Senate ratified the New START treaty with Russia after 13 Republicans broke with their leaders and backed the resolution. The final vote, look at this, 71-26, the way a treaty should be passed dramatically. Democratic Senator Dianne Feinstein of California is the chair of the Intelligence Committee. Senator Feinstein, this could have been a near miss, in the sense that the Republican leadership was saying if you didn't give the tax cuts to the wealthy people, this wasn't even going to come up. So people were playing politics with this. What would have happened if it hadn't been passed?
Well, there are a lot of allegations, I think, back and forth. I think we got to put those aside. I think this is really a significant thing. First of all, we have stood behind our president as he has negotiated a major treaty with a major power in the world. And I think it's going to be a major power that's going to be more important to America in Afghanistan, with Iran, with North Korea. So this treaty, in addition to cutting nuclear warheads and deployed and non-deployed launch vehicles by about 30% over 7 years, essentially opens a new day of cooperation and communication between the United States of America and Russia. And that is significant and important for the world's security.
What would have happened if it hadn't passed, regardless of the reasons? If this had failed to be ratified, what would have been the significance in our relations with Russia?
Oh, I think it would reinforce the hardliners who say in Russia still that the United States can't be trusted, that the only way is their way. We've got 2 young reformers as presidents, President Medvedev and President Obama. They worked this. They put it together. I went to Geneva last November, had an opportunity to meet with our negotiators, spend some time with them, with the Russian negotiators, spend some time with them. And this treaty was somewhat difficult to negotiate, but nonetheless, it got done. And today it got ratified. It's supported by Eastern Europe nations, by the NATO nations, by our allies all over the world. I'm delighted. I think it is a most important achievement.
Do you think it's good policy for the United States, if it is the policy, to try to eliminate nuclear weapons in the world?
Yes, absolutely. There are too many. We could blow up the planet Earth many times over. I think I was around, I was 12 years old when the bombs at Hiroshima and Nagasaki went off. A 21 kiloton bomb and a 15 kiloton bomb. The bombs, although these figures are classified, so I'll be very careful, but they are huge. They are 5, 6, 7 times bigger than the bombs at Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And what they can do is incinerate literally millions of people. So I think to begin to ratchet down these arsenals, the number of bases in Russia are cut in half from 70 to 35. We've got the verification that's necessary, the monitoring that's necessary, inspections, I think, that are much more in depth and much more comprehensive than the inspections under Old START. So New START is, in a sense, a new beginning in communication and cooperation with Russia.
Thank you so much. Senator Dianne Feinstein, who chairs the Senate Intelligence Committee. Thank you, Senator. Let's go now to a Republican senator who voted for the treaty. Bob Corker, senator from Tennessee, is one of the 13 Republicans who defied, their leaders, Kyle and McConnell. Let me ask you, Senator, what was it that led you toward adoption, towards supporting the treaty?
Well, Chris, I've been working on this for at least 6 months. I'm on the Foreign Relations Committee. I voted it out of committee. I said I'd vote for it on the floor if certain issues were resolved by the time we voted. And they have been resolved. And the fact is that, yes, this is a good arms control agreement. I don't think anybody has debated that 1,550 warheads deployed is less than we need. I think people forget we have another 3,500 warheads in storage. And I think what we ended up with was a balance. I mean, what Republicans, I think, should feel good about is the president has absolutely committed to modernizing our nuclear arsenal in a way that I know he wouldn't have committed to if it weren't for this treaty. We got strident comments from him and statements that we've codified in this ratification agreement that speaking to missile defense, the phased adaptive approach that we have in Europe, our ground-based interceptors. So I think Republicans should feel very good about a balanced agreement. I believe that, this is absolutely in our national security interest. I think that we're elected here to look at that first. And I felt that that was very much what we achieved in this agreement. I'm proud of that. And at some point, Chris, I think you have to say yes to yes. I mean, the fact is the administration answered every concern that I had. We were able to document it, codify it, and there's no question that this makes our country more secure.
Let's talk about the ideal and maybe the pragmatic ideal. President Reagan was a very much anti-nuclear guy. Even though he's a man of the right, he really didn't like mutual assured destruction one bit. He grew up with it in his later years, hated the idea that we would have the threat of all-out nuclear war as the main way of preventing a war between the two superpowers. He wanted to get rid of them, but his plan included a strategic defense, some kind of missile defense shield that would be successful enough to really make the other side useless in terms of attacking us. Is that the only road to go if we want to get rid of nuclear weapons? Do we have to have a shield? Is that the only route?
Well, I think we've taken a little different posture in that the offensive nature of our nuclear armaments is our defense. I think that any country knows that if they were to attack our country, literally they'd be obliterated. And so we've taken a little different approach. We do not have that shield. I do hope, and I think what we got out of this commitment was strident efforts on behalf of the administration going forward as it relates to certainly what we're doing in Europe. I think our biggest concern right now really is not Russia, but it's Iran, it's North Korea, it's other sort of rogue countries. And so the president has committed to going forward strongly with those. Again, Chris, I don't think we would have had that conversation. I don't think we would have gotten those commitments without this treaty. So, again, I think for both sides of the aisle, this was a very good agreement. I think it's one that speaks to the strength of this country. And to me, it wasn't even a close decision.
Well, it's very gratifying to watch a 71-28 vote on a very historic issue like this. I think we need strong bipartisan support for all history-making events. That's my view. Thank you very much, Senator Bob Corker of Tennessee.
I appreciate it.